Then he's giving them the thing and teaching them how to use their log pose. And then I was like looking at the little map that he did. Let me look at it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at his little map that he had. So I'm looking at this page and it's got the red line running through the side and then straight up and down. It has all these different navigable paths of different islands. And then they all come down to an island at the end. And it's written as Raftel. And because everybody is on my ass about how I pronounced Zorro's name as Zolo, but I was saying, as far as I had known, that in Japanese, you never pronounce the R as an R, but as an L.
Yeah.
Then I was like, is this supposed to be Laftel? But I think it's supposed to be Laugh. I don't know how to pronounce the last part. The first part definitely has to be laugh. The last part is, I think I'm pronouncing incorrectly because. So if the beginning is laugh and not wrath, which I've decided it is, so laugh tell. I'm going to keep saying it over and over
You're gonna
again.
say it until it sounds like something?
I don't know what to tell you because it's got to be more. There's
All
more
right.
to it then. If the last island is called that, then there's more to it about being a joke, about being some sort of narrative that is funny to the pirate, the last island. In all the history, only one group of pirates is known to have landed there for sure, and it was the crew of the Pirate King. God, no, that's my new obsession now. And then Luffy, until we get there. You mean until we get there? Is that where the One Piece is? Perhaps. Okay, obsessed. We need to not move into that part too much because now I'm obsessed.
Sounds like it. Look, I think if there's anything to be obsessed about in the series, it's the One Piece.
It's making me crazy. Because then I start to think about, why would he choose that? How can it not be translated from Japanese over? Does he like the name because it has the word laugh in it then? Like, is the English translation, does he like it in two sounds? Is there a reason he likes it in two sounds? So then I start to think, like, yeah, okay, I'm digging into this. The island. But let's go off here to Dory because Dory gave me some spoilers. Thank you, Dory. Big high
shit.
five.
You're figuring things out from Dory, huh?
Well, Dory gives you spoilers, right? So he talks about how in his village we live by a code. When there's a dispute, neither side will yield. The god of Elbath decides the matter. Our god protects the one who is right and lets him live. Blah, blah, blah. I started some trouble and now we're here. And I was like, it isn't a theoretical God that Dory is talking about. He's not like this theoretical God we don't see who may do things, but may not. Instead, he is talking about a tangible God that they could A, look at, B, have conversations with, C, be a part of the life of. And I was like, thank you very much, Dory. You've changed my perception of gods in One Piece now. So Dory added up to something that I was already thinking about with gods, because I've said it before that Usopp has a feeling like in traditional indigenous stories, he's got the feeling of being the human of the bunch, which I said I thought was weird. But the more that I got into the story, I was just looking for hints to make me know whether I was on the right path. And I was like, oh, I'm on the right path, Dory.
I genuinely don't remember Dory saying that, but I think you've been hyper aware of moments of referencing divinity that I didn't notice at all. Like, you pointed out Sanji and Zoro having a conversation about divine intervention in Logtown that I truly did not remember happening.
Whenever I'm looking at a story, the way in which people worship or the way in which they look at a higher power often tells you a lot about the mechanics of the place that you're in. Mm-hmm. And so we've had a couple of mentions that were in it throughout. And this piece here was the moment that I decided 100 million% that I needed to read the story as if Luffy wasn't just an interesting character with interesting people, but that Luffy was like the quote unquote farm boy, the trope of the farm boy who starts off as an average person, but ends up being, you know, the magical, the godlike, the wizard. And I kind of already had that feeling. And I mentioned it, I think, in the last piece, but this, because of Dory, I was like 100%, 1 million trillion%, high five Dory. It is for sure that gods are down here. So it is totally possible that Luffy is a god in this farm boy thing. We'll go to the corkboard corner in a minute because that took me down another new path. When I realized what I didn't know, I was like, all right, we're going to need to look some stuff up inside the world of Japanese myths and legends. So the first thing is that I knew that there had to be something going on about the way in which Luffy went up and over into the Grand Line, because everybody is looking for this map to get into the Grand Line. Out of all the treasure, there's only one map to get into the Grand Line. It's kept inside of a vault. And there isn't a bunch of other maps that the Navy can grab or other people can grab. So something has to be super important about what's found inside the Grand Line if you have one map to get into it. And so I started to say, okay, so if it's that difficult to get in, and Luffy becomes a pirate, which would allow him to steal things as part of the normal thing that a pirate would do. He has a crew, et cetera, et cetera. It would allow him to get up and over. So the first thing that I thought of is I need to get more into the dragon mythos. And the koi going uphill turns into a dragon. And then I was like, well, just stop. You already have a dragon. Who the hell's this dragon? So I went and looked up dragon mythos in Japan. Mm-hmm. And I have now decided 100,000%. And if I'm wrong, it'll make it way more fun.
You are living the this pedal goes up attitude this episode, and I respect it so much. You're living the channel values.
So I decided that there's a prophecy that's being fulfilled, and Luffy is part of it, and that's why he was asking the questions about whether or not this was the pirate that they were waiting for, that Luffy is fulfilling some sort of prophecy piece in there. But then I also decided, let's just call Luffy Monkey Dragon Luffy for now, instead of Monkey D. Luffy. And I've decided that Luffy is becoming more than he was, and moving over into the Grand Line has given him different inherited strengths, because I believe that Luffy would have had inherited strengths in himself anyways, even if he hadn't eaten a dragon fruit. But the dragon fruit... the devil fruit gave him strengths and gave him this power and made him be Rubber Boy. But I think that he would have had power anyways, inherited strength. I was like, is it possible that he's related to Dragon? Maybe, maybe not. But for sure, the two of them need to be seen together.